me, cause I'm having a good time. He's having a good time. Shigaraki's flying through the sky like a tiger, defying the laws of gravity. He got nuked by a bunch of cruise missiles. Oh, call it Mr. Fahrenheit. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry. I am so sorry to anybody that likes Queen. Not Queen from One Piece, Queen like Freddie Mercury, the band. I apologize. Okay, but seriously though, don't stop me now. Read the lyrics. It syncs up so damn well between Shigaraki and Star and Stripes fight. Like, it seriously does. Like, shooting Star leaping through the sky, that works great. They're fighting in the sky, defying the laws of gravity. They could basically fly. I mean, they can't really fly. I guess Shigaraki can fly, but, you know, defying the laws of gravity. Nothing's stopping me. I'm burning through the sky 200 degrees. He's being constantly fried by laser beams, traveling at the speed of light. I want to make a supersonic man out of you. Perfect, right? Supersonic intercontinental freaking cruise missiles. Oh my god. Okay, guys, I think we might have to nuke Shigaraki. I think we might have to nuke him. Yeah, this is a problem. This is officially a problem now, okay? When you can launch 10 intercontinental cruise missiles at a villain, and they get compressed together by a hero, and then jam down his throat, and that doesn't kill him, we got a problem. We need to fix this, okay? Alright, so this is the latest My Hero Academia chapter. I don't even remember the number, but I'm on a roll, so let's just go with it. Okay. So, I guess we have possibly reached the conclusion of the fight between Tomura Shigaraki, or All for One, against Star and Stripe, and it ended with, you know, in typical USA fashion, let's just call in an airstrike, you know? I mean, Star and Stripe was like, hey, look, I mean, you gotta be honest, though, in this situation, with, you know, considering that My Hero Academia, it takes place in, like, it's a contemporary setting, but it's a little bit in the future, because they have, like, robots and holograms and stuff, so you have to imagine, like, yeah, they got ICBMs. They got nukes. Like, that stuff exists in the My Hero Academia world, right? And so if we're dealing with this, like, super evil demon lord villain, All for One, that has, like, created this perfect hyper-regenerating body, it's like, yeah, Star and Stripes like, yeah, let's use the ICBMs. Let's, like, launch them at him. And so, that happens, and it you know, reminds me a lot of the scene at the end of the fight in Hunter x Hunter with Meruem and Netero, where Netero's like, yeah, I'll try to use my magic anime bullshit, but if that doesn't work, I'm just setting off a nuke. No, the ICBMs used in this chapter, they weren't nuclear warheads. I just don't think they were, because that would raise other problems. I think they were just like ballistic missiles, or they were cruise missiles, because that's what they were, you know, stated to be. They were actually stated to be, oh my god, it's such a long name. Tiamat is the shorter form, which I didn't know they were a fan of D&D in that sense. I don't know they played Horde of the Dragon Queen. State-of-the-art hypersonic. Hypersonic. I had to look that up. That's Mach 5. That is 5 times the speed of sound to be considered hypersonic. State-of-the-art series hypersonic intercontinental cruise missile. Oh my god, and their names are Tiamat, which is the name of a Babylonian god, so it's pretty cool. Also a 5-headed dragon in D&D. Alright. So, you know, that just happens, like the American flag just unfurls behind Star and Stripe, you know, just finish him off. Let's just end this threat. Let's just end the big bad of the entire series right now, okay? So, the missiles get fired at Star and Stripe. She, of course, has, like, her giant, muscular waifu, you know, cloud form going on. She has taken all the lasers from the stealth bombers and compressed it into a super laser hypermax lance. And she's just ramming that down on Shigaraki, okay? And just constantly frying him. Okay. In this chapter, I have realized, and this makes sense given the fact of, you know, that was the whole reason All for One went through this multiple decades-long plan, you know, and you know, even beyond just what he was normally doing, you know, after, you know, he realized that, like, okay, All Might, you know, One for All might get a little bit too strong. It's like, I have to sort of have, like, a backup plan here. So I'm going to enlist the Doctor, and then I'm going to have him turn Shigaraki into, like, the perfect vessel, and then basically download all of my memories into that perfect vessel, and it's going to be, like, insane. Like, the amount of quirks that Shigaraki has inside of him, it's ridiculous. Plus all of the quirks that, like, boost the quirks. Like, you have to understand the hyper-regeneration. I think that's going to be the biggest problem from what we've seen in this chapter. That hyper-regeneration is beyond whatever. I don't know what
I'm not a power scaler kind of guy, but I don't know where you would place My Hero Academia, characters in that like scale, or how quirks were, like how what the top level of quirks were or whatever. But like we're on a different level from that now. Like absolutely. Like seriously, Shigaraki regenerates so fast now. It might as well be something like hyper regeneration from like Bleach, or maybe like I just finished reading like Undead Unluck. It might be like something equivalent to like Andy's Undead or something. Like it's seriously that kind of level where it's like even after getting struck, and I know he dodges it, he like uses decay to get into the floor of the ocean so he doesn't take the brunt of the blast, but the heat coming off of this thing, like you see his skeleton, his bones, like his arms missing, you see his muscles, bones and everything. So just the time it takes Shigaraki to go from the hole in the ocean bed flying back up to grab Star and Stripe, the time it takes him to do that, his hyper regeneration, like you see his skin coming back, his like muscles are already healing and stuff. So we're dealing with crazy level of regeneration speed now, like absolutely absurd here, okay? And beyond just the missile thing, we're not even to that yet. Beyond just the missile thing, just being stuck in that column of hyper-concentrated laser fire, which I can't imagine how hot that has to be. That's still, his hyper-regeneration's able to keep up, okay? So he's in this insane, like, blast furnace times 10 sort of temperature, probably thousands of degrees, maybe tens of thousands of degrees, and his regeneration is keeping up. It's able to actually allow him to survive. He mentions in the chapter that it's basically like he's like basically being stun locked by Star and Stripe, just trying to constantly hit him over and over again to the point where he cannot move, but his regeneration is able to keep up. And Star and Stripe even mentions like, okay, if this is all it took to kill him, Endeavor could have finished the job. Endeavor, when he fought against him, in the last arc, just setting off a bunch of fire, just kind of trying to trap him in the Inferno. If fire and heat was enough to kill him, they would have done so already. And this, I guess if you throw him into the sun, I don't even know, could he survive that? Throw Shigaraki into the core of the sun. I don't know, he might be able to survive that. But it's like, okay, the laser's not going to do it. So then the cruise missiles show up, and I counted, there's 10 of them. There's the scene where her giant, muscle waifu cloud form is like reaching out to grab the missiles, and you can kind of see them all approaching in the distance over the horizon. There's 10 of these damn things. And so she grabs all of them, does like a twirl in the air, and then boom! Intercontinental freaking cruise missile punch, which... okay, United States of Smash was a cool name, but it has been dethroned by the Intercontinental Cruise Missile Punch. I mean, that's a pretty epic name for an attack, alright? That can only be one-upped if there literally is, they do launch a nuke or a hydrogen bomb at some point. It's like, I don't know, hydrogen bomb suplex! To be like, alright, now we're getting into new levels of badass here, okay? So she goes to punch, all right? And these are 10 okay, they don't have nuclear warheads, okay? Because if they had nuclear warheads, I feel like that would have been mentioned. Also, I feel like in that case, launching 10 missiles with nuclear warheads attached to them, even against Shigaraki, I don't think, like, they would have done that, right? Because the idea was that Star and Stripe, like, she was breaking a lot of protocols here, okay? So she called... not Admiral Akbar, it's Commander Agpar, get it right, calls Commander Agpar and is like, hey, can you launch a bunch of intercontinental cruise missiles at my location? Because I need those to destroy this villain. And so he's like, all right, I can do that, as like just a, basically cashing in all of, Star and Stripe's like honors and stuff, everything that she's done for the US, being the #1 hero and everything, be like, all right, as a favor to you, as a once and only favor to you, I will launch 10 intercontinental cruise missiles at your location. And you can do whatever you want with them. We've informed Japan of the airstrike. They know what's going to happen. But, you might not be able to go back to being a hero after this, Star. I mean, that's a pretty big favor to ask. But anyway, he launches them. He's like, yeah, their name's Tiamat. Have fun with them. And so, yeah, they're not nuclear warheads or anything. But I had to do a lot of research on freaking military tech today, and not my area of expertise, but there is this one cruise missile I looked at that the U.S. has. It's called a Tomahawk Block 4, And, that's capable of having a nuclear warhead, or it can have just a high explosive payload. Over 1,000 pounds of explosives could be on this thing. And like I said, it was even mentioned they are hypersonic, and hypersonic is 5 times the speed of sound. So even if there's no warhead at all, like even if you're just firing metal at 5 times the speed of sound, that's going to cause a big explosion just in and of itself whenever it hits something, right? So whatever. Anyway, she picks those up, she punches Shigaraki, the ocean splits. It's like a damn meteor hits the earth, the ocean evaporates, just... And then you just see the hole. And the explanation Shigaraki gave was, oh, I can freely control decay now. So he knew something was coming. He could, like, sense something coming. Keep in mind, also, he can manipulate radio waves and stuff. So the idea that he could sense, like, cruise missiles approaching and be like, all right, I can kind of buy that. It's just kind of broken when you get to the point where it's like, yeah, Shigaraki, he basically has every superpower dialed up to, like, 100 at this point. So have fun, heroes. So he uses decay to basically decay the ocean bed, the ocean floor, and just whoosh, makes a really quick hole. And I mean, this has to be very, very fast. He has to erode the earth in like less than a second, probably, at this point. So he goes in deep into the earth. I don't know how far down he goes, like a kilometer, I don't know what, in order to evade the brunt of this explosion, right? And so he evades it. Massive explosion causes a huge crater. Ocean evaporates. It splits and everything. They could see the freaking blast from the shore, and they're way out there. I mean, they're in the freaking Pacific, okay? They're off the shore. Endeavor and Best Jeanist and Hawks are, like, on the shoreline, like, driving around, and they could see the, freaking explosion out in the water. And so they're like, all right, damn. America's here, I guess. Okay. So Shigaraki then jumps out of the hole like a damn zombie. He has like one arm, but overall, I mean, like he's jacked up. I mean, you see like half of his face is all burned off. You can see his skull. He only has one arm, but like overall, after being, hit by an intercontinental cruise missile 10 times over, at like point blank, not point blank range because he used the decay thing, but like boom, going through that. And also, you'd imagine when he exits the hole to like rush Star, like how hot that like that bomb site has to be. Like it has to be super freaking hot, and just like jumping up and then grabbing Star, and his regeneration's already back. And that's how the chapter ends. It's like, I mean, what's Izuku gonna do to him? Like, Sarah, unless, is the second user of One for All's quirk a nuke? Because if it's not, we're gonna have some problems here, alright? Alright, this is gonna be a major problem for Izuku. I mean, you might want to try the nuke option. Like, that might just be your next step, because it's like, alright. 10 intercontinental cruise missiles were not good enough. So this high school student should be maybe enough to fight against him, I guess. Like, oh my god. And people were saying like, man, Izuku's got a lot of quirks now. He's got the Foe 100% with the Fa Jin, and he's got Float, and he's got Black Whip, and he's learning more about One for All with his full cowling, and he has all these crazy abilities, right? I mean, he's pretty powerful. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be good enough. Now, as for the end of the chapter, I will say this. I don't think, at least I hope, I don't think Shigaraki's going to get a new order from Star. I don't think that's the way it's going to go. If it does, if Horikoshi does go down that line, I'm actually going to be very upset, because that basically means we've introduced, and I hate this trope, and I've seen it so many times in manga and anime before. I hate it. But if we do the thing where it's like, all right, here's this super, super powerful character, wasn't really mentioned up until now, but she's got like the strongest quirk in the entire world. We're going to introduce her for like a single fight, and then she's going to lose, and then she's going to, have her quirk stolen by the big bad. And so now we've seen how powerful it can be, and now the villain is going to use it. I'm like, look, I'm not, like I've said this before when I did the other review, I'm not completely against Star getting her quirk stolen, but not right now. It cannot be right now, right after we got introduced to her character, all right? That would be too soon. It's not great, all right? We can have her maybe with a story arc, where we have like a whole thing where she's using New Order and she's explaining it and whatever. And that actually would be a better way to do it, because if she does not get her quirk stolen right now, and Shigaraki manages to get away or whatever, and it might be a thing where it's like, okay, Now we have that fear kind of looming over, like, all right, she still has her quirk, but is it going to get stolen? Okay, is Horikoshi going to do that, or is it going to be something else, right? Now, also, my question though, if he does not steal the quirk, what else can Star do? Would Shigaraki just leave? Unless it's like that thing where it's like, okay, the bombs actually did do a lot of damage. Like, he looks like he's like regenerating normally right now, and he looks like he's having the time of his life. He's having a ball. He looks like he's having fun right now. But next chapter, if he cannot steal it, he might be like, all right, let's try this again. And his body's all like contorted, and it's just like, yeah, you took a crap ton of damage. Your body, it hit a limit. It's not going to be able to recover from that super fast. You need to retreat. So it might be something like that. Now, how can Star avoid getting her quirk stolen? Because Shigaraki did just like grab her face, like we saw that last chapter. Now, keep in mind though, Star did have some time to react. Star, one of her bros, was in the stealth bomber, and he was like, "Hey, Star, just crush the bomber with me and Shigaraki. The explosion from my craft should be enough to take him out." And to that pilot, I mean, I'm sure that's wishful thinking, but once again, he survived 10 intercontinental cruise missiles. I don't think that, maybe just, well, okay, those 10 missiles didn't do it, but the explosion from my craft, that should probably finish him off, right? I mean, whatever. Now, Star opted not to do that because, they're her friends. They're her, not co-workers. They're her comrades in battle. They're like her squad, all right? And so she doesn't want to kill one of them, but it did give her some time, okay? She's like, all right, I'm not going to do that. So I think it did give her enough time to set a new rule with a new order, okay? I think it did. And that order might be like, my quirk cannot be stolen. Or, I don't know, the next person to touch me will be flung back 2 miles. Or something like, because, the last few chapters we've kind of explored there is a hard limit with New Order. Most notably, it's with increasing her own strength. And that might just be a limit of the quirk or her own perspective on it or anything. Could be something like that. But it does have a long range of applications, a lot of stuff you can do with it. And so it might have just been something like that. Like, honestly, the fling back is honestly not a bad rule. The rule of just, like, anybody that, touches me immediately within, like, a nanosecond is immediately, like, compulsory, just ejected back, like, as far as New Order can take you. Maybe not 2 miles, but, like, as far back as it can go, right? And if Shigaraki has to actually, like, I have to imagine Shigaraki has to stay in contact, like, physical contact with the person he's trying to steal the quirk from for at least a couple of seconds. It's not as easy as just quirk. It has to be at least a little while longer than that, right, to have some attachment. So, unless Shigaraki has a quirk that allows him to grab Star and, like, anchor his, like, the welding quirk, that Class 1B student has, which he has so many quirks at this point, he might have something like fuses his body to her in order to, like, absorb the quirk. But there's maybe other things. I don't even know. Would New Order be able to work with, like, the rule of New Order cannot be stolen from, me, Cassie, Star and Stripe. Could that work? I don't know. But I think it did give her time because she's like, because, her soldier was just like, hey, just finish me off along with him. And she kind of smiles, and then we see Shigaraki grab her. So I think it gave her at least a little bit of time there. So, all right, I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to set this rule. And she sets the rule, and then Shigaraki grabs her. Okay, at least I really, really hope that's what happened. And I hope we don't just have her quirk taken from her, because that would be... man, I really wouldn't like that. I mean, maybe Horikoshi could spin it in a cool way, but I don't know. Oh, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? This is, we're getting into... I'll tell you what it feels like. It really reminds me of Naruto in the later stages, where at the beginning of Naruto, we have, like, a very set kind of power scale kind of situation where it's like kunai knives, shuriken, tactical, like, I have a flash bomb and some string, and I'm gonna defeat this, like, genjutsu user. Okay, whatever. And then by the end of the story, we have Naruto using, like, all these crazy Rasen shurikens and blowing up mountains and, like, freaking Ten Tails, like nuking areas, like, like on the other side of the planet, and then the moon, and then everything with Boruto. Like, we're really getting into, like, the next level here with that. There was a huge, like, uptick when it came to power scaling in that series, and I'm kind of starting to feel that now. I'm starting to feel that now. There's going to be, even if Star and Stripe retains her quirk after this, there's still going to be backlash from like the government and everything. Like Star and Stripe, you're going to have your hero license revoked because of the actions you took. You just decided to go out on your own without government approval for one. You engaged the enemy, and then you commanded 10 intercontinental cruise missiles to be fired towards your location. Yeah, we're gonna have to suspend your license for a little bit after this. So maybe then, Cassie can hang out in Japan for a while. I was like, well, I can't go back to the U.S. right now, so I got to stay here and help you guys out. Off the record, so to speak. Could be something like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm hoping I'm kind of debunking right now on like, all right, the missiles did do a lot more damage than we have seen. It's just going to take a while to hit him, like the recoil. Also, I can imagine Shigaraki is like 100% adrenaline and endorphins right now, because he seemed like he was having fun. He was like, oh man, that was so cool when he like jumped out of the flames. But it might hit him, right? And he might have to retreat and be like, all right, well, she's in Japan. At least we know she's here and she can't leave. She can't go back to the U.S. So, we'll get her another day, and we might always have that like fear over us. But I would love Star and Stripe to like meet Endeavor and like eventually Izuku, and of course be reunited with All Might again. Like that would be really cool. And Cassie and Izuku, that would be really cool to see them interact, because it's like Cassie was like, oh yeah, it was inspired by All Might, like probably like the very first person to really be like a fangirl over All Might, because this was back in All Might's like young age when he first arrived at the U.S. I mean, he didn't even really have his hero outfit quite yet, right? He was just like, he just got there, okay? And so she's like, All Might's first fan that became, a hero, and then here's Izuku, that received one for all. So I would like to see Cassie and Izuku like sit down and have a conversation. Like that'd be really interesting, right? But anyway, yeah, that was the chapter. That was the chapter. I saw a lot of mixed opinions on this one, just because that hyper regeneration is no joke, man. It is insane. How the hell can Izuku fight him? Like, you'd have to figure out some way to nullify the regeneration. Like, that's the biggest threat right now. Like, I don't even care that he can fly and he can do all this other cool stuff, radio waves, air cannons. That hyper regeneration has to go, or it has to be weakened. You got to figure out some way to get rid of that, because otherwise, short of dropping an H-bomb on him, you're not ending his, or throwing him into the sun. Like, you're not going to get rid of him. Like what else are you going to do, right? Okay. Well, anyway, that was the chapter. Hope you enjoyed. That'll be Tekking and Barry signing out.